and welcome to Literally Victorian. This time around, we're going to look at an unexpected side of Victorian life: body piercings. Not just the delicate earrings we see in portraits, but the whispered, sometimes scandalous world of hidden adornments. Because as it turns out, the Victorians were not quite as buttoned up as they liked to appear. When you picture the Victorians, what comes to mind? Lace collars, modest gowns, and perhaps a polite cough behind a fan. We tend to think of the 19th century as the age of restraint, all propriety and prudishness. Let's start with the one piercing everyone agrees on: the ear. In the early 19th century, ear piercing was not only common, it was practically a mark of refinement. A lady might wear a single elegant drop earring, perhaps a pearl or a small diamond, as a sign of good taste and femininity. But as with all things Victorian, moderation was key. By the middle of the century, some etiquette writers began warning against too much ornamentation. One 1860s women's magazine praised the tasteful ornament of a single pearl earring, clearly implying that two, or anything larger, might be a bit vulgar. Still, ear piercing was a routine domestic affair. Many women did it at home. A needle, a cork, a steady friend were all that was required. In working-class communities, though, piercings had a different meaning. Sailors' sweethearts, market women, and servants sometimes wore several earrings. For them, jewellery was both decoration and currency, a portable bit of wealth in hard times. So even something as respectable as an earlobe could reveal class, gender, and a person's relationship to fashion. But what about other parts of the body? Here's where things get interesting, and just a bit risque. By the late Victorian period, the 1880s and 1890s, whispers began circulating about more private piercings among the upper classes. Medical journals and fetishistic pamphlets make occasional references to bosom rings, jewellery worn through the nipple. Why? Well, depending on the source, these were said to improve the shape of the bust, enhance sensitivity, or as one doctor delicately wrote, correct a deficiency of projection. Others hinted more plainly that they were fashionable among certain daring ladies, the kind who might also frequent artistic or bohemian circles. Now here we have to be careful. Much of the evidence is second-hand and sensationalized. But whether or not these piercings were widespread, the fact that people were talking about them tells us something important. Victorians were deeply preoccupied with the body, its beauty, its control, and its pleasures. And then, of course, there's the infamous Prince Albert, the supposed genital piercing of Queen Victoria's husband. According to 20th century retellings, Prince Albert had his member pierced to secure it neatly inside his trousers. Sadly, or perhaps mercifully, there's no reliable evidence this was true. The story seems to have been invented much later, but its popularity shows how eager people are to imagine a hidden sensual side to the Victorians. Whether myth or fact, these tales reveal how Victorians negotiated desire through secrecy, how adornment became a private rebellion beneath the rules of propriety. Now, we can't talk about the Victorian fascination with piercings without mentioning the Empire. During the 19th century, British explorers, missionaries, and anthropologists encountered a dazzling array of body adornment practices: nose rings in India, lip plates in Africa, ear stretching in Polynesia. In their journals, they described these customs with both fascination and disdain, calling them primitive or barbaric. Yet these same descriptions and illustrations filled popular magazines back home, feeding a quiet curiosity about the sensual and the exotic. At the great exhibitions and early museums, you could see ethnographic displays featuring native ornaments, gold nose rings, ivory bangles, and beadwork, positioned right next to displays of British jewellery. It was meant to show the superiority of European civilization, but it also made the idea of a pierced, adorned body strangely alluring. So even as Victorians congratulated themselves on being civilized, their fashion and imagination were being shaped by the very practices they claimed to reject. By now we can see the pattern. The Victorian body was a battlefield between discipline and desire, propriety and pleasure. Piercings existed right in that tension. They were both a form of control, a tiny, painful assertion of will, and a form of expression. They let people play with the boundaries of what was visible, what was respectable, and what was private. In public, metal meant virtue, wedding rings, brooches, lockets. In private, it could mean intimacy, daring, or secret identity. So the next time you see a portrait of a prim Victorian woman, sitting upright, hands folded, expression serene, remember, she might have had a story the photograph never told. Every age hides its vanities differently. For the Victorians, modesty was the costume, not the truth. Body piercing, then, wasn't rebellion against Victorian values. It was part of the same old human impulse to decorate, to control, and to express the body, even when society tried to pretend the body didn't exist. Thank you for listening, and perhaps next time someone describes the Victorians as prudish, you can smile and think of the metal glinting quietly beneath all that lace. Bye for now.